Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And this is your May 2023 horoscope. Just a few quick disclaimers before we start. I want to remind you all that I am using Vedic Sidereal Astrology. This is not Western tropical astrology. So, to be sure that you have the correct information, there is a link below in the description for your rising or moon sign. And this horoscope will be based on your ascendant or your moon sign. So up on the screen here are the major transits coming into May of 2023. Now, most of the major transits really took place during the month of April. This is where we saw all of these major turning points in this eclipse cycle. But starting off here on the 2nd of May, we will have Venus entering into the sign of Gemini. So Venus is now exiting its home sign of Taurus and coming into Gemini. And this is a favorable position because Gemini is ruled over by Mercury, which is friends with Venus. So Venus here in Gemini is excellent for business, for making deals, contracts, negotiations. This is definitely a great energy for any kind of business endeavors. However, we do have Mercury that is still retrograde. So the dispositor of this transit here is in retrograde motion. So definitely you want to be careful to look over all of the details before making any major decisions. Following this on the 5th, there will be a lunar eclipse in Vishaka here in the sign of Libra. So this is going to close our eclipse season that started off with that solar eclipse in Ashwini, which was all about new beginnings, new directions unfolding. But during the solar eclipse, it was a time of darkness where there was a lack of clarity in the direction that we were going in. So the answers to that new direction are unfolding here during this lunar eclipse coming up here in Vishaka. So we'll talk more about the lunar eclipse in a further video. But definitely this is a time of major answers, major clarity coming to you, especially as it sits here in Vishaka, which is all about purpose and direction. Following this on the 10th, we will have Mars, which is shifting into Cancer. So finally leaving this zone of Gemini where it's been very uncomfortable. However, Mars is not completely happy in Cancer either. This is debilitation. So definitely this is a time to watch any of mood swings, sudden decisions. This Cancer energy is very changeable and is very emotional. So Mars here is definitely in a scattered position where you want to be very careful about acting on impulse. Mars in Cancer can affect relationships at this time, and in particular because Mars is sitting directly opposite to Capricorn, you want to be careful in the workspace. But this is definitely a time of taking your time before making sudden decisions. Everything here is charged up emotionally with Mars here in the sign of Cancer. Now, following this, Mercury will finally come direct on the 14th of May, so ending out this retrograde cycle. And Mercury will station direct here in the sign of Aries, where it's been here for some time. Mercury not completely happy in the sign of Aries, as Mercury is all about making logical decisions and thinking things through. And Aries is very much about acting before thinking. So this is definitely a very uncomfortable position for Mercury and Aries. But everything that has been put on hold for some time now, everything that you've been trying to move forward with, where you have run into some obstacles, as Mercury comes direct, you will finally come to this conclusion about how you want to move forward. Again, coming off of this whole eclipse season, this is a major time of finding your direction. Following this, on the 15th, the Sun will finally shift ahead into Taurus. So we are now moving into a space where the energy is more calm and relaxed. That Sun in Aries was all about the initiation, was all about coming into this spring season, things getting started, firing up. But as we come into the sign of Taurus, this becomes all about being with the family, enjoying your time, really starting to wind things down with this energy. Taurus, of course, is a sign that is all about enjoying the beauty of life. It is all about the earthly plane, the nature, and is a very peaceful and diplomatic sign. So this is definitely an excellent transit for friendship, for community, for family, for getting along with others really well at this time. Following this, on the 19th, there will be a new moon in Kritika here in the sign of Taurus. So this new moon definitely is going to be a time of moving ahead. And as it sits here in the nakshatra of Kritika, it's especially about getting to the truth, getting that sense of clarity. So this is a major theme here for the month of May, is finally finding that direction that you want to move into. Kritika is a very creative energy. So definitely this is a time of any projects that you want to work on, anything new that you want to initiate. This is an excellent time coming into this new moon here in the Kritika Nakshatra. We'll talk more about that in a future video. But the last major transit here will take place on the 30th when Venus shifts ahead into Cancer. So mainly this transit will affect us into the next month of June. But as Venus shifts here into Cancer, this is a very tricky position for Venus. Definitely this is a very emotional time, a very needy time. And this is definitely a time where you want to be careful about clinging on to attachments that don't serve you. Very important that you're taking your time to understand your relationships and connections. So let's go ahead and talk about how this will affect each of you according to your rising sign or moon sign. Starting off here with the sign of Aries. And the energy here for Aries is all about expansion. This is a brand new chapter in your life with Jupiter finally here in your first house. But starting off here, Jupiter is in a little bit of a tricky situation. It's coming into a combustion with the sun, and along with that, Jupiter here in your first house is in this yoga with Rahu, which is very intense. So definitely this is a time of being cautious about jumping ahead into new territory. Taking your time to plan everything out carefully is very important. But Jupiter here in this 1 year transit is very special. This is opening up doorways for you, really getting you to expand in your life, to move ahead, to make some major decisions and changes to better yourself. This is a huge time of growth and expansion, especially in travel and education and opportunities that are coming your way. This is a time where you're more optimistic, you're more open-minded about your path in life. As Mercury moves ahead into your first house, this is going to give you a lot of clarity, a lot of sharpness. This is definitely a time where you are thinking about continuing to gather knowledge that you have been working towards in the past year here with Jupiter back in that 12th house. And really, with Jupiter coming into this first house, this is about applying the knowledge that you have gained, using this to move forward and to actually transform your life. As Mercury is ruling over your third and sixth house, this is all about coming up with new solutions to problems, all about rearranging your life and making some major moves and decisions. When you have the lunar eclipse here in your seventh house, this is going to give you a little bit of clarity around your relationships. Mainly for Aries, this has been a time where you have been more focused on yourself, on self-improvement, on your life direction with Rahu sitting here in your first house. And this continues as Jupiter comes into the first house as well, where this is definitely about you and your life purpose. K2 back in that seventh house is really getting you detached from your relationships in some way. And for some of you, if you are in serious relationships, your spouse is also struggling and going through some conflicts of their own at this time. So this is definitely a time where you are really focused on how can you better yourself? How can you improve? How can you expand in your life? A lot is changing in a huge dramatic way for you and has been for some time with Rahu in this first house. But definitely 2023 is the year for you where these changes are starting to finalize, especially as we get closer to October, where we will see the nodes finally shift. So coming into November, there will be some major clarity as to these changes that are unfolding in your life. When the new moon takes place in your second house, this is definitely a time of coming to some new epiphanies around finances, around family concerns. There is definitely a new perspective that you have around managing these areas of your life. This is very important. We have this new chapter of your life that is opening up that really is showing you the path towards how to create that solid foundation in your life, how to move forward, how to really move into these new opportunities that are in front of you. Now, when your seventh and second house Lord move into your fourth house, this is a time where you're really closely connected with your mother, with your family. This is a very comfortable time for you. But definitely, Venus is a Marika planet. So, this is a time of really dealing with family concerns, people leaning on you, people seeking you out for support at this time. But because Mars is moving into this zone of the fourth house as well, this will definitely be a focus area for you in this month of May, as Mars is your chart ruler, directing your energy and focus into this fourth house. So you're very focused on your home, on your connection with family, on really happiness and enjoyment, along with how can you continue to expand in your career, in your opportunities. And this, of course, has been a major theme with Saturn in your 10th house and now in the 11th house. Big time of you really moving ahead in your career pursuits, in your ability to gain wealth. This is a huge focus for those of you with Aries moon, Aries ascendant. So let's talk about how this will affect those of you with a Taurus moon or Taurus ascendant. Well, the overall energies for those of you with Taurus moon, Taurus ascendant definitely is more on a mundane level. This is a time of sorting out some health concerns for some of you. This is a time of really focusing on the daily areas of your life. And this is huge as Rahu has shifted back into your 12th house, Ketu in that 6th house. So definitely this has been more of an introverted time for some of you, going more inward and really focusing on everyday routine, everyday situations. For some of you, this is a time where you have come into a situation of stability coming off of that Rahu in your first house. For others of you, it's been a time of really losing a sense of stability from the past changes that have played out in the few past years for some of you. But definitely, this is a time of focusing on your health, focusing on your routine, making sure that everything is straightened out and done properly. And this is definitely true as you will have a new moon that is happening here in your first house in Critica. You're getting a lot of clarity as to what to remove from your life, what no longer serves you, what needs to go. A lot of epiphanies, a lot of truth that is coming to you at this time. The sun will be lighting up your house big time as we come into this Taurus season. This is definitely a time where you are feeling more confident, more lively, more expressive, more so getting into your creative expression for some of you as well. As Taurus is a very creative sign, this is definitely a great time for those of you who are in any kind of creative or entrepreneurial fields. This is an excellent time for you to glow up, to show the world your talents and abilities, and really unlocking a sense of happiness and peace as it is your fourth house Lord as well. So there's a lot of sense of comfort, of security that is coming through this transit. We do have Mercury, though, that is moving back into your 12th house. So Mercury is a very important planet for you as it rules over your second house. So it's very important that you're paying very close attention to your wealth, to how you're managing your finances and resources. There can be some losses at this time, especially if you're getting involved into any risky ventures. So you want to be very careful around these areas. This is also a time, again, to pay attention to your health. Mercury coming into this second house can definitely be a time where it is time to look at your diet, to look at some changes that need to take place. This is definitely a time where you're feeling more talkative and connected with your family as well. And especially for those of you who have children, this can be an excellent time for connecting with children. This is definitely a time where you are getting into spirituality, where you are getting into mysticism, astrology. For some of you, this is a time where you're focusing really heavily on your studies and education as well. This is excellent as Mercury comes into this 12th house, giving you the ability to really focus in on your studies, removing some of the distractions from your mind at this time. This lunar eclipse, of course, will take place in your 6th house. So as I've said, this is really highlighting your daily life, your health, your work, all of this, really looking at how you can make some major decisions and changes around this. And this lunar eclipse will really bring a sense of clarity in this area for you. When Venus enters into your 2nd house, this is definitely a time where you are focused heavily on your appearance, on your money, your security, your sense of comfort and family connection. This comes to you very strongly at this time, and this can be an excellent time for some of you as far as your wealth creation as well. Venus is your Lord, so really helping to support you. Venus, of course, is also your 6th house Lord, so you may have to sort out some debts, some outstanding difficulties in your life, but definitely Venus is helping you as it comes into this 2nd house. When Venus shifts ahead into your 3rd house, this is really going to get you close with your siblings, your cousins, those who are close to you. Really, this is a time of connection. And this is a time, again, of getting into any kind of creative pursuits. For those of you who are in that field, this is definitely a great time for you to push ahead with new projects, new opportunities with Venus shifting ahead here. So for those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant, this is a very radical time for you. A lot of unexpected situations happening, a lot of sudden shifts and sparks in your life, definitely at this time. And we will see this Mars energy that really is here in your 1st house, where there is a lot of spontaneity, a lot of energy that has been happening here for those of you. Mars, of course, is going to shift ahead into Cancer, we will see here towards the middle of this month. And this is definitely going to, again, increase your energy levels. This is going to make you very active. And really, the focus goes on your wealth creation. You are getting really determined with your career pursuits, with your money, with making security happen for you. You are having a lot of energy directed into this area for some of you. This can create some conflicts, though, especially in your family. So you want to be very careful about your speech. Mars in the 2nd house can really give you some very fiery, intense ways of speaking with others, particularly again in your family situation. Mars here also can make you fiercely independent at this time. You're not really listening to other people. And this is especially true as Mars is not really a friendly planet for those of you. It rules over your 6th house, so be very careful of making enemies, getting into unnecessary quarrels and conflicts at this time. It's very important that you watch how you speak, you watch how you're coming across to other people. Some battles are not necessary during this time for those of you with Gemini moon, Gemini ascendant. There will be a lot going on back in your 12th house as we have the sun that is shifting there. So this can definitely pull you back into yourself. This is a excellent time for getting into meditation, any kind of spiritual retreat, really tapping into your creative talents as well with the sun moving behind your ascendant. We also are going to have this full moon here that is taking place for you in your 5th house. So really, again, opening up avenues for you as far as creativity, as far as new ideas coming to you. For some of you, you are getting some big epiphanies around your education as well, really coming into a space of clarity about how you want to move ahead in this area. There can be surprise situations with children, with family members who are having children at this time as well. We will see a solar eclipse, though, that is taking place back in your 12th house. So again, you're getting some new insights at this time. It's definitely a time of listening into your intuition, really taking that time to pay attention to your inner voice is very important. We will also see Mercury, your Lord, which is shifting into your 11th house. So definitely you will be focused on your connections and friendships when Mercury shifts into this 11th house. Really focus again on your wealth creation, on new opportunities opening to you, some unexpected themes playing out. So again, you want to be careful about your speech, which is seen through Mercury coming in this 11th house. Some potential conflicts happening in your friend circle, in your social circle at this time, definitely can play out. For those of you with a Cancer moon or Cancer ascendant, this will definitely be a time of opening up to new possibilities as far as your learning, your education. You're really wanting to explore and to expand in your life at this time. For those of you with a Cancer moon or Cancer ascendant, this Jupiter has shifted into your 10th house, so really opening you up to many possibilities and situations, particularly in your workspace. You are really goal oriented at this time, and others can come to you for wisdom, for advice through your career as well. This is definitely a time where you are looking to open up new doorways, looking to open up new opportunities for yourself, looking ahead towards how you want to expand in this area. And for those of you who are in employment, this can be a time where you're getting a raise, a promotion, where you're getting noticed, where people are seeing your potential. For those of you who are in business, this is definitely a time where you are trying to open up new doorways. You are trying to expand upon your career. So this is a big time where you are looking for how can you expand your wealth? How can you take care of some outstanding debts and situations in your daily everyday life? This is a time where you are thinking about your family and how you can expand for the betterment of your family as well. But Jupiter is your ninth lord, so you're taking your wisdom, your education, you're trying to expand in this area in order to really grow in this space of career. The sun will shift into your 11th house, which is excellent. Again, opening you up to new possibilities, new connections, new opportunities at this time. This may be a time of expanding your friend circle. Now, because the sun is also your Marca house ruler and is a mild malefic, this can burn out some old friendships as well. But definitely this is lighting up this 11th house where this can be a big time where your friend circle is looking to you, looking for answers from you. You are becoming the leader of your social circle at this time. So this is really lighting this area up for you. This is really bringing in opportunities for wealth creation, for really expanding in this area. Now, Mars will also be shifting into your first house, so you are becoming very enterprising, very ambitious, very much driving straight ahead. A lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm to push forward. For those of you with Cancer Moon, Cancer Ascendant who have been feeling drained, tired, coming up into this month of May, when Mars shifts ahead into your first house, your energy levels will increase. You do want to be careful, though, about getting into conflicts. Mars in this first house, aspecting onto your seventh house, can create some obstacles in your relationships and connections. You want to be very careful about how you're approaching other people at this time, but really this is helping you in a lot of ways to overcome some obstacles and difficulties. For some of you with Mars moving in the first house, you're also thinking about property, real estate. For some of you, making some major changes as far as your home and living situation. When Venus shifts into your first house, which again will mainly affect you in the month of June, this is really going to light up your personality. People really are drawn to you at this time. You are having a very charming and pleasant way of interacting with others. And this can make you very luxurious as well. You want to be careful about overindulgence, but this is definitely a time where you are living your life, where you are having new experiences, new connections, really having fun with Venus coming into this first house. You will have a new moon that is coming into the 11th house. So again, new opportunities around friend circle, around connections, opportunities for wealth creation coming in. And we will also see this lunar eclipse that is taking place in your fourth house. So, again, some of you coming to a space of clarity around real estate, around home improvement, around changes in location coming up during this transit. For those of you with a Leo moon or Leo ascendant, this is definitely a time of getting into your passion. Whatever it is that you are passionate about, this is really coming to you at this time. You want to move ahead as far as your desires, what you want to create and grow and bring into your life. This is definitely a big time. We have Venus, which is shifting into your 11th house. So, really, this becomes about your desires, about your future, about your plans. You really want to attract opportunities into your life. And Venus, of course, is your third house ruler. I'm sorry, it is your third house ruler and your 10th house ruler. So, this is definitely a time of really working towards your career, working towards opportunities to build and grow and expand. You are looking towards what is your future, what can you bring forth money wise, what can you bring forth with all of the opportunities coming into your life. Definitely, we will see a lunar eclipse that is taking place for you in the third house as well, gaining some clarity in this area. If you were having some difficulties around siblings, this is definitely a time of bringing some things to a close in this area, getting a sense of closure. But also, this is all about how you're moving forward. This is all about how you're achieving your desires, how you're growing at this time. You are getting some big realizations in this area. Mars, as it comes back into your 12th house, along with Venus here at the end, is definitely going to take you inward. For some of you, you're also moving into foreign lands or thinking about some foreign journeys at this time. But definitely, this is a time of getting deep into research, into spirituality, into mysticism. This is definitely a time of focusing in on your studies as well, as Mars is ruling over your ninth house. So this can be a great time of getting that focus, that precision that can help you to really grow for those of you in education. Your 10th house is being lit up by this sun that is coming here into the sign of Taurus. So people are noticing you in your career. You can get some opportunities, some promotion, some situations where people are looking to you to lead, looking and relying on you for advice. And there will be a new moon here in this 10th house as well. So definitely there is a new opportunity. There's a new situation that is unfolding for you. If you're owning your own business, this is definitely a time of growing, expanding, coming up with new ideas around your career. Mercury, as it's moving here into your ninth house, again, is getting you into your studies, into your education. And again, this can vary. This is definitely a time where you are interested in learning and traveling and exploring, and your perspective is changing. As Rahu has been here in the ninth house, some of you have been a little bit fanatical about your belief systems or stuck in a certain religion or philosophy. Mercury here is expanding your ability to see into different areas. So this is really getting you back into the normal you as you come into this transit, especially with Jupiter that is sitting here in this ninth house, giving you a great deal of luck and fortune moving forward. For those of you with a Virgo moon or Virgo ascendant, this month for you is all about balance. We have a lot that's going on in your 8th house here with this Jupiter Rahu situation. And of course, we'll be seeing Mercury, your ruler, that is also moving back into this 8th house as well. So, a lot of you have really been focused on going inward, on going into research, going into your studies deeper. This is definitely a time where you are going through a lot of dramatic transformations as well. This 8th house is all about sudden ups and downs, and this house is being highlighted at this time for you. You are growing in a big way through the transformations in your life. So, definitely, this is not a negative thing. All of these changes here are helping you to grow. And also, for some of you, this is a time of relationships moving forward as well. Romantic situations, as Jupiter is your seventh house lord. This is also a great time for business, as Jupiter is the seventh house lord. And so, definitely, this is great for business partnership, for new dealings, contracts, new opportunities related to the marketplace, where you are finding new and clever ways to grow in your wealth and resources. We will also see the sun here, which is coming into the sign of Gemini. This is a very interesting situation for you. This is really helping you to really be more creative, more experimental in your career. This 10th house here for you is really, with Venus here, is really getting you into any kind of new project, new creation that you've been sitting on. This is an excellent transit. We'll see a lunar eclipse that is unfolding here in your second house. So definitely for some of you, you have been really thinking about your finances, thinking about your wealth. And for some of you, you have also had a scare or have had some anxiety around your wealth and resources as well. This lunar eclipse is going to bring you some clarity in this area where you are finding solutions and ways of moving forward. Mars is shifting into your 11th house. So be very careful about getting into conflicts and situations. Mars is a very tricky planet for your chart as it's ruling over your 8th house as well as your 3rd house. Both houses of major conflicts. So definitely this is a time where you could be getting into quarrels and conflicts with your friends, with your social circle. You're having very strong opinions at this time. You have very strong beliefs and you are standing by those beliefs. So be very careful about how you are communicating with others. The sun is moving ahead into your 9th house. So definitely this is a time of travel, of new opportunities, of new situations. For those of you in education, this is definitely a time of getting into your studies. The sun is your 11th house lord, so this can give you a deep inner focus. For some of you, really getting that time to really focus in on all of your learning at this time. This can also be a time where you're very generous, where you are all about helping others, because this 9th house is about doing what is right, and we have this 12th house of charity, of generosity involved. So this can definitely be a time where you are thinking about how you can give back, about how you can really participate in noble causes. This new moon as well is opening up new opportunities and doorways for you. So once again, travel, education, higher learning, all of this is getting highlighted through this month of May for you. For those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant, this is a time of waiting. You have planted the seeds for what you want to see take place, but definitely this is a time of being patient and taking your time step by step to get to the results that you want to see. There's a lot here that is going on in your 7th house that's been going on for some time now. This Rahu situation in the 7th house, bringing in all of these people and situations that is draining your energy. K2 in that first house, of course, has made you want to go more inward, to discover more about yourself, to really focus on your own journey, your own path, your own interests. And so this has been a balancing act of really dealing with this 1st and 7th house axis. As Jupiter comes into this 7th house for you, this is definitely opening you up to new opportunities, new people. For some of you, even marriage, relationships unfolding in this 7th house. But definitely there's a lot going on. You're feeling overwhelmed coming into this. You've been waiting for something to happen and you are continuing to wait to see those results unfold. We will see Mercury that is coming into your 7th house. So definitely some clarity is coming up here. You are coming up with new ways to communicate and to deal with other people through this transit. We have Venus that is shifting here into your 9th house. This is very auspicious. Venus, of course, is your chart ruler coming into the house of fortune. So this is definitely a time where you can be thinking about travel, where you can be thinking about higher studies, education, religion. This is opening you up to different cultures, different people, different situations, and this is excellent for your studies. This can also open you up to occult studies. Of course, your chart ruler also rules your eighth house. So many of you very interested in astrology and mysticism, all of these subjects. This is really a time of taking those studies to a higher level. We're also going to see the big event of the lunar eclipse that is taking place in your first house. Again, some major realizations coming to you at this time as you've been waiting for something big to change and happen for you. This will be this realization that is coming to you during this lunar eclipse. We're also going to see Mars, which is shifting here into your 10th house, and Venus here at the end of the year. So you are becoming more enterprising about your career, about your goals in life. You're really taking action at this time, pushing ahead in this area. And for some of you, most of your focus is going into your career with Mars here in the 10th house. Mars, of course, rules your 7th and 2nd house and is a Marka planet for you. So you want to be careful about getting into conflicts with bosses, authority figures, but definitely this is a time where you are pushing ahead. You are a go-getter. You are ambitious. You are focused 100% on your goals. And so this can definitely create obstacles as well in your relationships. Again, Rahu has been here in this 7th house, putting a lot of emphasis on your relationships. But you really need to pay attention to what is it that you need to do to set the proper boundaries for you and to really take care of your own needs. This becomes very important at this time. A lot of things weighing on you as Mars is coming into this 10th house, and especially coming into the next month of June when your ruler goes into the 10th house as well. The sun will be moving back into your 8th house. So again, you've been very focused in on your studies. This is definitely going to take you deeper into this. The sun coming back into this 8th house also can make you very attractive. You are magnetically drawing others to you. So again, this is where setting the proper boundaries is very important for you. This is definitely a time with the sun, which is bringing you a sense of clarity coming back into the 8th house to really take your time. There can be situations of accidents and sudden changes occurring in your life. Definitely you want to take everything cautiously, step by step, to really have a plan, to have a way of how you are moving forward. The sun is ruling over your 11th house coming into this 8th house. So this can definitely indicate new ways of making money, new ways of finding multiple income streams opening up for you. This is definitely a time where this can take place. But you can also see some fluctuations in your friend circle. For those of you with a Scorpio moon or Scorpio ascendant, this is a time of some major changes for you. And you want to definitely pay attention to the moves that you are making. There is something big here where there are some sudden changes that are happening from behind the scenes, some things that you are unaware of. So you want to be cautious and to not act on impulse coming into this time. This becomes very important. We will see this Jupiter, of course, with Rahu in your 6th house. So this is definitely where some accident situations can unfold for some of you. You want to be very careful about how you're dealing with conflicts and situations. But definitely this is a time of decluttering your life, of removing things that are no longer for you. And this new moon here in Critica is really going to give you a lot of clarity about what needs to go, especially in your relationship situations. What is no longer for you? What needs to be removed out of your life? What needs to be addressed? What kind of truths need to be brought up to the table? This is coming in strong. We're definitely going to see that this is a time where you are lighting up with this sun coming into this 7th house. But really, this is putting the spotlight on other people. So it becomes about really putting your needs first and paying close attention to what kind of boundaries you need when dealing with others. Other people can be very dominating to you at this time. This is definitely a time where you are putting a lot of emphasis on other people. This can also open up some opportunities with business for those of you who are involved with business partnerships. This is really bringing in the spotlight on you. This is definitely a time of really moving up in your career. But definitely, once again, this is a time of being very careful. This seventh house is a tricky house for you as it is also ruled over by the Lord of your 12th house. So there can be some expenses, there can be some hidden agendas, things playing out in this area. You want to really pay attention to your relationships and connections, particularly in business. There can be some situations where you really need to pay close attention to how you are managing and monitoring everything. Mars will also shift into your ninth house. This is very auspicious. This is your chart ruler coming into the house of fortune. So, this can be a time where you are excelling in your studies, where you are really gaining a sense of higher understanding and wisdom coming to you for some of you as well. This could be a time where you're thinking of travel, thinking of moving location for some of you. There's definitely a focus that is centered on the home as well. Some real estate situation, some re-innovation around the home, dealing with some changes in this area is coming up. You want to be careful about getting into conflicts, though, with family members as well. Mercury in the sixth house for you is helping you to really come up with some creative solutions to problems in your life. So, again, this is a big time of rearranging things and making some changes, cutting and removing out things that are no longer for you. We're going to see this lunar eclipse also that is unfolding in your 12th house. So, this is a time of trusting your inner voice, trusting that inner knowing that you have, listening in. There's a lot of clarity that is coming to you through your subconscious. And so this is also a great time to keep a dream journal to pay attention to some of the signs and messages that are coming to you. For those of you with a Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius ascendant, this is a big time where you have been working hard towards a goal. There is a lot of focus and precision on what it is that you want to work towards. But a lot of this has been inward. This has been a lot of internal growth, a lot of psychological changes that have been taking place for you. Jupiter, as it has moved ahead here for you in your fifth house, has been a big moment where this is really firing things up in your life. This is your chart ruler coming into the house of creativity, of excitement, fun, entertainment, of romance, all of this coming up as you're coming into this Jupiter transit. So this is really getting you out of that internal space where you've been doing that internal work, that internal growth, and really finally getting you out into the open world. This is where you're starting to enjoy yourself, where you're starting to take on new opportunities and experiences. We will see Venus, which is shifting here in your seventh house. So, definitely thinking about relationship situations, thinking about new connections coming in. But Venus, you want to be careful because it is the ruler of your sixth house. So, there can be conflicts if you are in an ongoing relationship for some of you. But definitely, this is about smoothing things out in this area, about really being more harmonious in your relationships, in your business partnerships, and any kind of important connections. For those of you who are in a creative field working with the arts, this is an excellent time. New ideas, new situations coming to you about how to grow your resources, about how to take on new opportunities. You're thinking of new projects because Venus is the ruler of your 11th house. We'll also see this lunar eclipse that is taking place in your 11th house as well. So, getting some clarity in this area. Again, you're thinking of new ways to grow and expand now in an outward way after all of that internal growth that has taken place. And for some of you, this expansion is taking place in your friend circle as well. Some of you losing some old connections and gaining some new ones in this area. Mars is also going to shift back into your eighth house. So, this is a tricky position for some of you. Mars, of course, is a very positive planet as it rules over your fifth house. But coming back into this eighth house, you want to be careful about risky ventures, about getting into stock market situations. For some of you, this is a risky area. You want to look at your fifth house and the condition of your eighth house to be sure about any of these situations. This can definitely be a time of any kind of risk taking situations leading to sudden circumstances that you want to be cautious of. We also have Mercury, which is shifting into your fifth house. So, this can be excellent for your education for some of you, getting more into your studies. This is helping you in a lot of ways. And this is especially true if you are focused on business, on your career, on ways that you want to expand in this area. You are finding new things to learn, new things to apply. This is definitely a time of really applying new skills, of gaining new skills, gaining new knowledge that will help you to move up in your career area. The sun is going to light up your sixth house. So, again, this is about your work. For some of you, this is definitely about this growth. This is about learning. This is about applying practical skills to your life, dealing with all of this in this area. And you will see a new moon that is unfolding in this sixth house as well in the Kritika Nakshatra. So all of this clarity and insight is coming to you about how to deal with this area. For those of you with a Capricorn moon or Capricorn ascendant, this will be a time of new beginnings. You are one of the main cardinal signs here where you will see this Jupiter transit taking place in a Kendra house. So this is huge. Jupiter coming into your fourth house is definitely getting you to expand in your area of studies, of philosophy, of spirituality, of religion for some of you. This is definitely a time where you can get into foreign travel as well. This is a time where you are expanding, and there's a sense of happiness and security that Jupiter is bringing into your fourth house. So, this is excellent because definitely this transit of Rahu Ketu has been very difficult for some of you. Rahu in this fourth house, and some situations of being smothered by family, being in some difficult situations, having some itchy feet where you want to shift and change location, but Rahu making this very challenging in this area. Some of you even finding some detachment from your career, some burnout in this area with K2 up in that 10th house. So Jupiter here is helping you. This is definitely bringing a sense of security to you during this transit. Jupiter, of course, is your 12th house lord and is definitely a planet that will bring you some creative inspiration, some intuitive insights at this time. And this Jupiter in this fourth house is all about going deeper, going within, coming to some major realizations. This can also help you in your career area for some of you as well, where people are noticing your skills, your talents coming into this Jupiter transit. We'll see a lunar eclipse that is taking place in your 10th house. So, again, you're coming into some clarity around your career situation. But definitely, this is a time of letting go. So, for some of you, this is a time of changing your career. For some of you, this is a time of new situations around your career that are taking place. So, definitely, there are some major shifts that are happening. Some new things that have started out during the solar eclipse that are finally coming to a completion here at this lunar eclipse. Mars will be entering into your seventh house. So, really, those of you who are in relationships, you're very passionate at this time. You're very intense about your attachment. And this is definitely a time of spicing things up in your relationship. For those of you who are single, this can also make you very intensely focus on new relationship situations. Mars here is definitely excellent for business, for career. This is opening up new opportunities for you. This is definitely a time of working hard, of achieving, of moving forward. This is making others see you as a leader in some cases in your career area. Mercury is shifting here into your fourth house as well. So, really, this is activating your intelligence, your education. You are building some kind of skill. And for some of you, you are learning from home as well. There's something here about really applying things into your home situation. But definitely, this is a time where there are new opportunities, new possibilities opening up for you. Mercury, though, is ruling over your sixth house, so you want to be careful in your relationship with family. There can be conflicts with the mother, with your home situation for some of you. The sun will be shifting here into Taurus. So this is definitely a very creative time, opening up that fifth house for those of you with Capricorn moon, Capricorn ascendant. New projects, new possibilities, new opportunities opening up for you in this area. This is definitely a time of experimenting, of really getting into any kind of creative pursuits. If you are someone who is involved with the creative field in some way, you're getting new inspiration, new ideas coming to you. So, for those of you with an Aquarius moon or Aquarius ascendant, you are charging forward with full force and determination. You have a lot of energy coming into this month of May. And definitely, this is coming from the activation of your third house here, where this Jupiter Rahu situation is. And of course, the sun, which is here lighting up this third house for you. You have a lot of courage at this time, a lot of bravery. You are charging full speed ahead. But for some of you, this is definitely difficult because this Saturn that is positioned in your first house is slowing things down. This is asking you to be more disciplined, more patient at this time. But definitely, you are wanting to blaze new trails. You're wanting to charge forward with your ideas, with your skills, with your desires. This is a huge time where you are passionate and determined. Now, we will see Venus, which is shifting into your fifth house here. So, definitely, those of you who have creative talents in the arts, anything that is entrepreneurial, speculative, this is definitely a time of really exploring this side of you. Venus coming in this fifth house is going to make you more happy, more peace loving, more romantic, more expressive, and creative. This is opening up this fifth house for you in a big way. So this is definitely a time where you're going to want to socialize, wanting to connect, wanting to explore your creative talents. This is a fun transit with Venus shifting into this fifth house. You'll also see a lunar eclipse that is unfolding in your ninth house. So definitely some clarity around situations related to your education for those of you who are involved. This has been a little bit of a tricky time of Saturn in that first house. Definitely before that, with Saturn in the 12th house, you felt a weight on you, a lot of stress. But Saturn in the first house giving you the strength and determination to push forward, but also weighing a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders at the same time. So definitely you're getting some clarity about how to juggle different things in your life, about how to find a sense of balance and how you are directing your energy forward. Mars will be shifting into your sixth house, so be careful about your health at this time. There can be some situations unfolding here in this area, but Mars also gives you the strength to overcome any health concerns as well. So this can be a very interesting transit. Mars here also gives you a great ability to overcome enemies and obstacles. And of course, because Mars is your third and 10th house ruler, this is giving you a ton of energy and determination in your career. You are completely focused on your goals and pushing forward with full force and determination. Mercury will be shifting into your third house as well. So, definitely, any of you involved with media, journalism, writing, any kind of communication related profession, this is an excellent transit. This is definitely a time where you are more animated in your way of communicating, where you are seeing yourself getting involved with writing. For those of you who have put off writing, a story or book, this is definitely a time where you will see a lot of activity in this area, especially with Mercury that has been retrograde in this third house. Some of you have seen some delays, some frustration, some difficulties. The clarity is coming back as Mercury stations direct. The sun will be entering into your fourth house, so lighting up this area for you. Definitely, the sun is a tricky planet, though, as it rules over your seventh house. So, this is a time where you are definitely connecting with others and you are wanting to have some close connections. Even if this is just one on one, you are looking to have relationships, friendships, situations where you are social and connected with others. But there can be some conflicts and ego issues coming up in this area for you. So, you want to be very careful, especially around family members, around mother. All of this is definitely being afflicted by the sun. So you want to be very careful in this area. And of course, there will be a new moon here in this fourth house as well. So this could be a time where you're thinking of changing homes, of new situations, re-innovating your home. This can come up with the sun here in the fourth house. This is an excellent time for business. You're getting new ideas, new things coming to you about how you can really grow in this area. So, for those of you with a Pisces moon or Pisces ascendant, this is definitely a time where you are thinking about your future. You're thinking about where are you going right now. And many of you have been very concerned about your financial situation, about your sense of security, about wanting to create a stable foundation. So, coming into this transit, Venus will be shifting into your fourth house. This can make you very luxurious, very much about beauty, about comfort. You're a bit of a homebody coming into this Venus fourth house transit. This can make you interested in decorating your home and rearranging things in the home, of really having a close and harmonious connection with the mother and the family at this time. Venus, of course, is a tricky planet though for you as it rules over your eighth house. So there can be some sudden situations for some of you. But definitely, as Venus rules over your third house, this is an excellent time of communicating and relating with close ones. There will be a lunar eclipse in Libra in this eighth house, so a lot of sudden changes definitely unfolding during this month. A lot of you coming into some clarity about finances, about how you can bring in new sources of income, new ways of making money. This is coming up during this time. But the moon also is ruling over your fifth house, coming into this eighth house, so some big relationship issues also coming up. This is definitely a time where you're finding a sense of peace and closure around your relationships. This lunar eclipse is giving you a great deal of clarity in this area. And of course, this is coming off of this solar eclipse where there was a bit of instability for some of you in that second house of your speech, of your security, of how you're dealing with family and connection. This is all coming back to you, the clarity and understanding as you come into this lunar eclipse. Mars will be entering into your fifth house. Excellent position. You're coming up with new ways, again, of making money, of finding new ways of creating security for yourself. This is a very experimental position. You're really thinking about how you can use your creativity and talents to bring forth resources. And this is also an interesting time for education for some of you. You're very passionate about your studies. You're very determined to push forward in your education. Just be careful that you're not pushing too hard and becoming impulsive in this area, impatient for some of you with teachers. But definitely Mars is a very auspicious planet for your chart. So this can help you with your studies. This can help you in this area of growing and expanding with your career. Mercury will also be entering into your second house. So you are very talkative coming into this Mercury transit. This is a great time for any kind of career situation that involves speaking, writing, communicating, all of this. You can make an excellent teacher, lecturer at this time. Anything that you want to start that involves communication can bring in some money and resources for you. The sun will be lighting up your third house, so you're very willful at this time. Again, you're thinking about your future, how you can move forward. This is giving you a ton of energy and courage to charge ahead. You are initiating, you are moving forward at this time. So for those of you who have been feeling a little bit sluggish, stuck with that sun in the second house, this is really pushing you forward at this time. And of course, there will be a new moon in this third house. So you're thinking of new projects, new skills, new courses, new ways that you can build on your education and skills and talents to really move forward with your desires and your career success.